Good morning on this very snowy March 2017 day. This is Alan Adams from the School of Business at Dean College. And if you're watching this, it means that you've completed your first Excel badge at the beginner level, and for that I congratulate you, also for all of the efforts you've made. And what I'm doing now is I'm starting the second Excel badging program. Like the first program, there will be a couple of videos, and then you'll take a proficiency quiz. And upon completion of what I'm planning right now to be 3 quizzes, you'll receive your intermediate level badge, badge number 2. Okay? Today we're going to start by talking about Excel tables. Now, of course, we're moving into higher functions that Excel provides. Excel not only gives you a very strong ability to manage formulas, text, and basically any data. We've already seen a little taste of data management, but it also allows you to do things in multiple ways and sometimes with great complexity, as we'll see in the upcoming 2 badges. Okay, so what you can see up here in the Excel matrix I've put here is a repeat of some of the information that we used back in, I think it was right around our second proficiency quiz. And basically it's just data. I've put together a payroll list of individuals from different locations. I've given them different salaries and pay grades, indicated whether they're professionally certified in their profession or not. Okay? Now, when you're dealing with data like this, you can sort it, you can do all kinds of things with it, but the use of an Excel table makes your task much, much easier in several ways. There are dozens of advantages that using a so-called table bring to you. Some of them are that the tables are easier to extend and enter data without having to constantly update formulas. There are many more drop-down functions instead of having to go into the functions up here in the toolbar or the ribbon to find them. It automatically extends formulas for you. It gives you a lot of built-in sortation and filtering features. Again, we've touched on that already. Way up here in the upper right of the ribbon, you see sorting and filtering. We played with that a little bit in your first badge. Okay, so we're going to make that process slicker, easier. It's also going to make charting easier. We haven't discussed charting yet, but use of charts and graphics is something that's very important to business persons, and it's something that Excel provides very, very nicely and flexibly. And the use of the tables will help accelerate that for you. That will probably be the next topic that I discuss with you. What else? You can lock the column headings. That makes things a lot easier for you. When you scroll, you can still see the column headings, and it even can total for you. Now, there are 2 basic ways to create a table. So I'm going to take all this data you see before you here. Okay, that's just raw data right now, right from the file we used for one of our earlier experiments. And what we're going to do is turn it into a table. Now, what you can do is come down here and create a table with brand new data. I'll get into that a little bit later. A simpler way to create a table, if you already have existing data, is to come up and highlight it. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to take all of this data and turn it into a table. How do I do that? The first thing I do is I'm going to highlight it. Now, notice I'm going to include my column headings as I do this. So I left click and drag with the mouse until I've got the whole thing, the whole range highlighted just like that. Okay? I can either come now up here to the upper left and click on that toolbar, insert table, there it is, or I can just do it within Excel itself and click up here and say insert. And look at the third one over, table, okay, either way, and I'm going to left click on that. Okay, it's saying create table. Where's the data for your table? Well, I've highlighted the upper left, B7, and the lower right, H46. You will notice that it put $ in front of them. You'll recall that that fixes the cell reference instead of making it flexible. So this is firm, this is solid. The other thing I want to point out, friends, is that it says my table has headers. You want to make sure that that is checked. Okay, you can turn it off by clicking on it, but you want to have that on because that's going to give you all kinds of other powers for data manipulation later on. So let's click on OK. Once again, I've got my timer running because I have a file size I have to maintain, or this file will be too big to post. I'm going to click on OK. Now look what happened, okay? Now I've created a table. That table is what we call in Excel an object. It works in Microsoft Word as well, okay? An object, it's something you insert into the body of, in this case, a spreadsheet. It could be a picture, it could be a graph. An object is something of substance that you place within your spreadsheet for a specific purpose, and now we have one. That object is now called a table, okay? All right, very good. That's how we create a table. Now, one of the things about this table is that it's very easy to add records. So before I do anything else, I'm going to add a column here and do a few things to make some of these columns unique. First of all, I'm going to take the column that says state, I'm going to center it, okay? So I just highlighted column E by clicking on the E at the top. Then I click this center icon up here in the ribbon, and you'll notice all the state names are centered, okay? Salary I'm going to leave alone because everyone has a salary that's in nice round numbers, but you will notice it's got a comma in it, okay? When I formatted this column, I said, don't use any decimal places, but do put a comma in it. We've done that before. But what I'm going to do now, friends, is I'm going to highlight column H, and I'm going to click on Insert in the ribbon and put another column, a fresh column in here. Okay? I'm going to click on the column heading. Right now it defaults and says column 1. I'm going to type in FICA. Okay? Now, FICA means your Social Security and your Medicare. And I'm going to take the salary, excuse me, and I'm going to multiply it by the current FICA percentage, which those of you in accounting know is currently 7.65%. Okay, so I'm going to create a formula. I hit plus. I go to the 35,000 right next to me. Now you'll notice it's actually putting the column heading within the formula I'm typing. That's another nice thing about a table. It uses the actual name of the column when you're trying to create formulas, making your life a little easier. I want to take that number, the salary, and I want to multiply it by 0.0765. All right, that's how much your employer, has an error. I'm sorry about that. I forgot the time sign. You're going to look at your paycheck next time you get one, and if you don't already know this, you know that your employer withholds Social Security and Medicare. Collectively, that's called FICA, and that is 7.65% of your gross salary. So now I'm going to see what my FICA is for my people, and now you're going to notice something awesome, okay? You'll notice I didn't have to do a replication, okay? The table assumes that I want to replicate that all the way down the table for everybody. I love anything that makes my life easier. There's a beautiful example, okay? I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to highlight column H by clicking on the H. I'm going to right click and I'm going to format this column. I click on Format Cells, and normally I don't care for pennies, and when you're dealing with FICA, Social Security and Medicare, you do have to consider pennies. The government is concerned about them, so we have to be. So I'm going to click on Number. I'm going to leave decimal places alone. I'm going to leave it at 2. I'm going to click on 1000 separator. I always love to have my comma in there. And I'm going to click on OK. All right, so now my FICA column in my table does have pennies and it does have commas, okay? I'm setting it up like this for a specific purpose. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to show you how easy it is to add some records. The next record that I'm going to add, let's see, I'm right on my last record there for Mr. Donovan Leach, okay? And I'm going to just go to the next available cell and type in someone's name. Let's use Mr. Leon Redbone. Now see what happened. As soon as I entered his name and clicked, it assumed it wanted to extend my table automatically. I love it. Okay, so let's put the rest of his information in. Let's make him from Hopedale, Massachusetts. Now look at this. Right away, it extended the table and it preserved the formatting. it added a row, and instead of having to format that row as if I weren't using a table, it automatically centered Massachusetts for me. Let's give him a pay grade of 2, a salary of $57,000. Watch this, the comma will appear. Right, it preserved my formatting all the way across, space by space, knowing how I formatted that column in the first place. You'll notice that it automatically calculated my FICA for me. 7.65% of Mr. Redbone's $57,000 a year salary will make him certified. Okay, that is how easy it is to add data when you have a pre-existing table. I love it. Now you can make this table as big as you want. Okay, one other thing that we can do, and I haven't experimented with it too much, but we can change the appearance of the table. Now, one thing about a table, an object like this, is that you can make it look more professional, you can make it look slicker and prettier for the boss. And of course, you know how we love to use presentations. You can export this table into a PowerPoint presentation. You can copy this table and reproduce it on other spreadsheets or on other pages within the spreadsheet, as we learned how to do for your first badge. Okay, so let's see what happens. I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to click anywhere in the table. I don't care where. Okay, now let me click out of it first. Now take a look at this at this toolbar up here for Excel. Now as soon as I click anywhere in this table, watch what happens. See that? Another little tab up here called Table just appeared. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to click on that and watch what happens to the ribbon. Look at that. Okay, we've got some cool stuff we can play with over here, and we will later. But for now, all I want to do, friends, is I want to change the appearance of this table. So if we wanted to say make it, well, I tell you what, I like to type in a blue font, and the table defaulted to a blue background. And some people might find that busy, hard to read. So if you wanted to make it instead, how about we select this reddish orange color? Look at that. How easy was that? One single click and you've changed the aesthetics of your slide or of your table. If you want to make it even brighter contrast, you can select maybe yellow, just like that. Okay? And the table automatically, you'll notice this, places a dark background and a light background on alternating rows. Okay? So those are all cool things initially that the table can do for you. Please remember that you can add records with consistent format. You have a much greater presentational format as well. Let me see, it locks the top row, and you have all kinds of functions that you can accelerate by using the table instead of having to adjust a function in one place and replicate it to others as if you weren't using the table. Okay? Now, when we come back, I'm going to break here and start a fresh video, and I'm going to show you some of the functions that the table format brings to you to make your life faster and easier with data manipulation. I'm going to save this, okay, and I will be posting this video. And once again, congratulations on your first badge. I'll get back to you shortly. Bye-bye and have a good day.